Hey guys, Rich here with Brotherhood Reviews, and we're back talking about another manga. And today's manga is Fire Punch, and I did complete 1 and 2, and this is going to be a 5-part series that I'm going to do about it. I read through volumes 1 and 2. I do have the bookmark because there is something I wanted to reference in book 2. But yeah, as you can see, Fire Punch book 1, Fire Punch book 2. I do have all 8 of them, so I will be getting this done as soon as possible. But let's get started. I'm going to talk a little bit about it. This will contain spoilers, so if you do not want to know about the series, I suggest you click off subscribe and then click off the video. But anyways, I would like to just talk about volume 1 right now, and then we're going to get into volume 2. Now, volume 1 was very interesting. You get a lowdown of the world and what's going on. It's pretty much year 2200. We're in the 2200s, so you know it's like 2022. It's like 200, 2000, 2200. They didn't give us a specific year, but we know it's like 300-400 years past where we're at right now. Now, Tatsuki Fujimoto is also the creator of Fire Punch. The creator of Chainsaw Man. So that's why I wanted to get this, because every time I kept hearing about Chainsaw Man and Fire Punch, everybody kept saying they wish they would have read Fire Punch first. So I got Fire Punch for a good deal on Amazon. It was like $95 for the whole bundle set. They are $12.99 a volume, so it would have been like $110-15 if I would have went the regular individual route. So I kind of got a deal on them. Alright, so let's get into it. So it takes place in the future, in a dystopian future, which I love stories like that. And it takes place with these 2 orphans, Agni and Luna. And in this world, people were born with abilities, and the people that were born with abilities are called blessed. And the blessed have, they're just basic ability. We find out that there's electricity, fire, air manipulation, and regenerative. Regenerative seems like the most common one from what I've seen so far, but from what they've also made it clear is that like everybody's regenerative speed is different. Like Agni can regrow a limb in seconds. His sister Luna, it takes her about an hour to regrow a limb. Also, something to note about the world, they consider blessed, if you're not to a certain par, you're considered fuel or firewood. So that means they'll just use you for your ability until you die, but we'll get more into that when we talk about the second one. But now the first volume pretty much contains of how Agni became on fire. Now, Agni was just a regular kid with a superhuman regenerative abilities. Both their parents died of starvation, and because both of them had regenerative abilities, they could live through starvation. Starvation wasn't going to kill them. These people broke into their house and pretty much chopped them up and set them ablaze like they did their parents, in order to keep heat, keep a fire going, and they had some heat. you know, this one, it's explicit for a reason. It says explicit right here in the corner. That's why I'm not showing you any panels, because this is really um a violent shonen. It's from the Sig series, so it's the shonen signature line. So but there's a lot of real I would say triggering things that go on in this dystopian future, and it's very disturbing for most people. The story itself of what, like, all the acts don't fully happen in this, but they're not, you know, they're not frowned upon in this world. So like what we would consider being raped is fairly legal, and men are allowed to just pretty much do that if a girl is of age, or even if she's a slave, because there are slaves, because you're either a part of the military or you're a slave. But we're gonna get more into that when we talk about the second one. But so Luna and Agni are captured and being chopped up and used as firewood because they can regenerate. So it's like a constant firewood, but they're running out of food. So they're debating on whether or not eating these people, you know. So, you know, Agni gets the courage to stop one of the guys from damaging his sister, so they escape, and walking through the snow, they land like outside this village, and the villagers bring them in, and because they're blessed, they ended up using the brother cuts off his arm every day and brings it to each villager that's still alive in the village, and they are pretty much cannibals and eat the blessed in order to stay alive. Now, this is where the story starts to take a turn, because he is essentially not forcing, but he's helping these people by turning them into cannibals, which is the reasoning why he's on fire now, because a military force from one of the major cities came in to take whatever supplies they have, and they were going to take him and his sister, but when they found out that they were cannibals, he torched the whole place. And his blessing was a fire, but his fire won't go out until whatever he sets on fire is extinguished. So like, until, if he sets you on fire, if the fire's not going out until you die. But since his regenerative ability was so powerful, he just revived faster than they could burn him to death. So just by the little bit of that little extra glimpse of like of power that he had. Now it took him 8 years to pretty much develop a tolerance to the pain of being set ablaze. Not only that, he watched his sister burn to death because she caught on fire, and her regenerative ability isn't as fast as his, so she was kind of regenerating, but it wasn't at a fast enough rate to turn her into a fire person like Agni is. Now, once Agni gets control and is able to walk and move around, he starts wandering, and he remembers the dude's name. His name is Doma, and he tries to search for him. And that's pretty much the main part of this volume. He does run into a boy that named Sun, who calls him God, and that's another thing about this. This is a very like religious heavy manga, because like if you really think about it, the dystopian world, like You know, when your world's covered in ice, there's nothing left to turn to but God. Now volume 2 really turns up. Well, we also get introduced into Togata, who is this also regenerative person who's lived for over 300 years, and she wants to make a movie. She was very fascinated with movies, and movies were a big thing back in the day, and she loved to watch them, loved everything about them. Now, Togata is very knowledgeable, powerful, and has a very strong, fast regenerative speed. Her house got burned down with all her movies. She tried to shoot herself in the head, and she just regened almost immediately. Now she is protecting 2 guys from outside forces because they are 2 gay men, and that's pretty much frowned upon in any village you really go to, and well, any village that has sustainable resources. So they have her protect them in exchange for them to do whatever she needs them to do for her. So right now she was on a quest to find the fireman and turn him into a movie star, the hero of her story. Now she catches up to him after he already catches up to Doma. He pretty much gets outside of the town, the village that I cannot pronounce, but they get into a fight. He's fighting all the military guys that are trying to stop him. He kills most of them, and then he fights Doma for a little bit. Doma pretty much tells you, like, I'll do anything except die. And then Doma's like, and then he's like, that's the only reason I came here, so I guess we can't come to an agreement. Now they end up subduing him because he, in all reality, I think he said in volume 1 that he was like 15, and it's been like 8-9 years, so he's only like 23, 24 at the oldest. So, and was on fire, and for the first 5 he couldn't even stand up. He was just laying there as a open flame. So, you know, he obviously has no fighting ability, no training, no skill, no natural skills, except the fact that if he touches somebody, the flames get on them and they won't extinguish until they die, which is a great skill to have in general. They end up decapitating him, but because of his regenerative ability, the fire wasn't going out and he was staying alive. And so they were shooting his head for hours until they were able to transport it, and they were trying to throw him into the ocean. Togata saves this girl who met Sun, who both were sold to this pervert. It gets crazy, guys. But she saves this girl while murdering everybody in this shipping cargo that's transporting Agni to throw him into the ocean. Now Togata kills everybody and pretty much saves Agni. Well, he wasn't technically gonna die either way, but she blows up the box that had his head in it so he could reattach it. Then she agrees to train him so he can fight Doma on an even playing field. Now there is something that was said in here when the 2 gay guys were talking to the chick, Neneto, I think that's how you pronounce it, Neneto. But and they were pretty much asking her what's her deal, and then he said, we used to live in Bahagdog, but homosexuality is not accepted, so we also ran away. Popular opinion can be scary, a scary thing. All people have their own individual principles and positions, but when mob mentality happens, popular opinion trumps all. And I just felt like that was like a very interesting statement, because it's true. Because if you are in a situation where there's extreme conditions outside, and we all have to live in this confined space, in this confined area to survive, and the resources are dying off every day. We can't grow anything anymore. We're living off of canned foods, and if there is any animals left, possibly finding one or two, maybe, if anything. So it's like, when you're in a society like that, you go with whatever the popular opinion is. If everybody's not with it, you're either not with it, or you're just gonna have to escape like those guys did. And it just expanded the world even more to see that, like, this is happening all over. Like, it's not just there, it's everywhere is where this is going down, and nobody knows what to do about it. And there was one interesting thing too. At the end of book 2, we find out that Togata knows more than she's letting off, and she's pretty much saying that everybody's saying that well, the ice witch, they said that this winter was caused by an ice witch, and she said it's genius that you guys are using a fake witch and a fake king and a fake religion to keep everybody in panic, to blind them to realize that they don't know what's going on. They're using a king in this witch story to keep the public in the blind about, like, that they don't know that what's going on. And she was like, because you guys didn't, in a world, Togata said, in a world where there's no education, you can use God as a way to explain things that you don't know without the proper education. But when you know things and you're educated properly, you know that this is a second ice age. So this is the world if we went through a second ice age. So I'm guessing the blessed are people who developed to become pretty much better and to adapt to these new conditions. So the blessed are technically the next step in the evolution process. Now, before I forget to talk about Sun a little bit more. Sun in chapter 2, he was captured by a pervert. Then when he found out that the pervert found out he wasn't a girl, he turns him into like the city, and because he has electrical powers, that's like very rare. They only have one other person like that, so they put him in to pretty much be used as firewood to power the city. And while he's down there, he realizes that they have people, everybody who can make fires down there, people who can make like metal like materials, who can form metal like materials, they're down there. People who can do like wind, all that, they said are down there, being used as fuel and firewood to keep the city running. And he was going to be a part of it. They put tubes in their neck to feed them, and they said that it'll be pretty much, he'll probably live for about 30 years if he doesn't get sick. Now they pretty much are in this painful process for about 20 hours out of the day, and then 4 hours they have, like, you know, nobody's using any energy and they get to rest. He was pretty much telling them the story about Agni, and they weren't trying to hear it anymore. But he told them, like, exactly what happened when he met Agni, and when he was laying there about to get he was sitting there about to get executed, and Agni pretty much walked up minding his own business, and he was praying to God, and he was like, that's the sign, that's why he's God. I watched him get shot in the face and then stand right back up like nothing happened. And all these people that lost their hope, and he even said it, he was like, I was at that point too until I saw him. I was at the point where I just didn't care anymore. I just didn't matter to me. And then he showed up and saved my life after praying to God, and changed everything. But that's my thoughts on volume 1 and 2 of Fire Punch. This will be a 5-part series. I hope you enjoyed it as much as I am enjoying this series. I hope you guys are having a good daytime, night. Whenever you guys listening to this, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Thank you.